In this video, I'm going to be sharing my top 10 rose-based fragrances. I have 10 of my favorite rose-based fragrances here, and I'm going to be sharing all niche fragrances. So guys, if you want to find out my favorite rose-based fragrance, please don't go anywhere. So the note of rose is quite tricky with me when it comes to fragrances. It's tricky because it can be a hit, or other times it's just a miss for me. I have a lot of rose-based fragrances. I have some that are not featured here, but these ones here are some of the ones that I really enjoy, and some of them are paired with other notes like oud, some of them leather and other things, but yeah, they do have a prominent note of rose. So without wasting time, we go to the house of Bellissimo, and this one is called Rose and Beer. Yes, this fragrance is from an Italian house, and I believe they sent me this fragrance a few years ago alongside with some of their other fragrances. And the reason why this one is coming at number 10 is because I don't pull for this one too often. And I'm not even sure the reason why I don't wear this fragrance too much. I guess it's because, one, rose, like I said, can be tricky for me. I believe this is one of those fragrances that I really have to be in the mood to wear and enjoy. What we have here is rose, there's ambery touches here, there's musky touches here. But what I pick up the most in here is that green, earthy vibe that's in here. Almost a vegetal kind of a vibe you get with the rose in here. And I'm not sure why this fragrance is called Rose and Beer. It doesn't have a boozy vibe to me. I don't pick up anything boozy except that very green, very vegetal kind of vibe that I do pick up here with the rose. But one thing I can mention to you guys is that this fragrance lasts a long time. This is a beast mode fragrance. Like I said, the reason why this one is at number 10 on my list is because I don't pull for this one too often. I really have to be in the mood to wear this fragrance and enjoy this fragrance. It's definitely a winter fragrance in my opinion, or maybe even a fall scent at the same time, but not one I would wear in the summertime or even in the spring. Maybe I could pull this one off in the spring because of that green quality in here. And some of the notes listed with this one, there's rose obviously, there's some apple listed here, there's some amber, some musk, and I believe some other notes listed here as well. Yes, it's a great fragrance in my opinion, just one I don't wear too often. So guys, that's Rose and Beer from the house Bellissimo. Let me know if you've heard of this fragrance or even heard of the house in general. We move on to the next one. The next one I'm going to be sharing is from the house Orientica, and this one is called Bellissimo Romantic. Yes, this one's supposed to be a clone of a popular fragrance by Parfums de Mali. I believe this is a clone of Delina. And yeah, if you like Delina, if you like Delina exclusive, you would enjoy this fragrance. It's kind of a clone in my opinion. At least that's what it reminds me of. But yeah, it does have rose. It's a beautiful rose fragrance. It's really floral, you know, with that rose. And there's some citrusy elements in here. There's some spicy elements in here as well. And this one has a powdery kick that's so beautiful. And this one has some ambery sweetness as well. And I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this fragrance. It's just number 9 on my list, also because I like this fragrance, but I don't wear it too often. I find this fragrance to lean more to the feminine side, even though a man can wear this one. I know a lot of guys that wear Delina. I know a lot of guys that enjoy Delina exclusive from Parfums de Mali. So if you can rock any of those fragrances, definitely you can rock this one. This one gets me a lot of compliments. I do also like to layer this fragrance a lot. It just gets the job done, and this one lasts a really long time. And the performance on this one is amazing, and some of the notes with this one, you get that freshness, that fruitiness from the grapefruit, from the peach, from the bergamot in here. There's obviously rose listed as part of the notes. There's pink peony listed here. There's some ambery touches, there's benzoin listed, there's vetiver, there's musk, there's violet, and I believe maybe some other notes listed here as well. This is a great rose-based fragrance, and this is one I enjoy wearing, especially in the springtime. This can also be an all-year-round fragrance. The performance on this one is really good, so it can be a winter scent or even a cold weather fragrance. So guys, that's Bellissimo Romantic from the house Orientica at number 9. So coming at number 8, we go to the house of Memo Z, and this one is called Superbia. Yes, I think I've talked about this fragrance before on this channel. And in this one, I believe there's some oud in here, but there's that rose here, there's some fruits in here, there's some leathery qualities in here, spices, and some of the notes with this one, there's rose obviously, there's orchid, there's leather, there's amber, patchouli, musk, saffron, and I believe some other notes. This one was sent to me by the brand, by the way, and yeah, Even though I find this fragrance to be quite soft, it doesn't last really long. It's not a beast mode fragrance, but it does the job. And this is one of those rose fragrances I like to wear when I'm not looking to announce myself, when I'm not looking to overwhelm anybody or even overwhelm myself. It's a great rose fragrance and it's very versatile. You can wear this one to the office. You can wear this one everywhere. It's not going to overpower anybody, in my opinion. I also find this one to be quite unisex, even though it might lean a little feminine to some people. But yes, guys, that's Superbia by Memo Z. Let me know if you've tried this one, guys. We'll move on to number 7. We go to the house of Boudicca, and this one is called Ardent. Yes, this is a very popular fragrance in the community. A lot of people like this fragrance. And yes, it's a gorgeous, beautiful rose fragrance, in my opinion. Great smelling fragrance. One of the better rose-based fragrances out there. And yeah, it's just so juicy and lovely, guys. Yeah, even with this one, you can say maybe it's not all about rose in here. But yeah, it does still have rose as one of the main players, and that's why it's on my list, guys. And what we have here, we have rose, obviously. We have oud listed as part of the notes. We have saffron, we have beeswax, we have patchouli, we have honey, we have woody notes, some florals, and it's just a great smelling fragrance, in my opinion. If you like a rose fragrance that's somewhat sweet and ambery, then you should maybe check this one out. Yeah, it does have that ambery side to it. It has that sweetness. So if you like a sweet rose kind of fragrance, and then you should check this one out. The only complaint I have about this fragrance is the performance for me. This one doesn't last on me. This one disappears in like the first 1 hour on my skin. I've heard a lot of people say the same about this fragrance, and it's such a shame because it's such a great smelling fragrance and one I really enjoy when it comes to the scent profile. And I also find this fragrance to be very sexy and unisex at the same time. Ladies like this fragrance and it's such a lovely one in my opinion. So guys, that's Ardent by Boudicca the Victorious at number 6. We move on to number 5. So coming at number 5, we go to the house of BDK Parfums, and this one is called Tabac Rose. Yes, Tabac Rose by BDK Parfums is another rose fragrance that I do enjoy, and that's why it's on my list, guys. Yes, what we have here is rose with some tobacco. I believe there's some chocolate in here. There's some spicy touches in here from cinnamon. There's some fruity touches in here. There's that chocolate in here, and that for me is the only reason why I would say I don't like this fragrance. I do enjoy this fragrance, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of chocolate in fragrances. I'm not a huge fan of some of the gourmandy notes that sometimes are paired with some of these fragrances. So yeah, I think that chocolate in here is what makes this fragrance quite feminine leaning, in my opinion. But then it's still a great fragrance. It's still a great rose fragrance, and it's really high up my list because I really enjoy wearing Tabac Rose here. Yeah, even though I don't pick up a lot of the tobacco in here, I do pick up rose there for sure. I pick up some spices, some woods, and even maybe some patchouli in here. But yeah, like I said, I don't pick up a lot of the tobacco in here. I'm not sure if it's just me, but BDK Parfums Tabac Rose is on my list because I find this one to be a lovely rose fragrance. So guys, let me know if you've tried this one, and we move on to the next one. So the next fragrance I'm going to be sharing is from the house of MFK, and this one is called Oud Silk Mood. Yes, this is Oud Silk Mood Extrait, and this one has one of the most beautiful rose I personally put my nose on. And this is rose paired with some oud in here. There's some herbal touches in here. There's papyrus listed as part of the notes, and this one has a little bit of a leathery vibe. It has a little bit of a green vibe and almost a dry quality in here. But yeah, one of my favorite from the brand, one of my favorite from the oud line from MFK. And you know what, I would say this is my favorite from the oud line, even over Oud Satin Mood by MFK. A lot of people like that one, but this is my favorite one from that line. I enjoy rose fragrances that are not sweetened up with those ambery notes. I don't like my rose fragrances with things like vanilla, things like chocolate, and things like that. I prefer when rose fragrances are blended with things like spices, incense, you know, smoky, leathery kind of rose fragrances, and that's what we have here, and that's why this one is at number 5. Oud Silk Mood by MFK is one of my favorite rose based fragrances, especially because I enjoy that rose in here, and this one lasts a long time. I find this fragrance to be perfectly unisex. This is one for the cooler weather. I've worn this fragrance before in the summertime and it was too much. I almost killed myself. But yeah, it's such a great fragrance. Such a great rose fragrance in my opinion. That's why it's at number 5 here. So guys, let me know if you've tried this one and let me know what you think, and we move on to number 4. Coming at number 4, we go to the house of Ormond Jane, and this one is Arabesque. Yes, I've talked about this fragrance for a while now on this channel, and what we have here is a floral, fruity fragrance in my opinion, and it's perfectly unisex, and this one reminds me of a few other fragrances I have smelled in the past. Yes, what we have here is a rosewood combo fragrance, and the reason why this one is on my list is because this one has more of that rose, spicy saffron in here, which gives off that leathery quality, but then it's on my list because of the rose in here. I like when fragrances are in this direction. It sits perfectly with my taste and my palette when it comes to the fragrances that I do enjoy personally. There's some wood in here, like I mentioned. It has a woody backbone for sure. It does have some earthy undertones. It has some patchouli, some moss. It has a green vibe to it as well. And with this fragrance, I like the blend of spices. There's some warm spices in here, and there's also some fresh spices as well listed with this fragrance. It just has that spicy kick, that oriental vibe that I enjoy, and that's why it's on my list at number 4. Arabesque by the House Ormond Jane is a great rose-based fragrance in my opinion, and one I really enjoy wearing. I personally would wear this fragrance in the cold weather. It's a great fragrance for the fall and the winter time. And the performance on this one is quite decent. I wouldn't call this one a beast mode fragrance, but if you spray a lot of this fragrance, it can be very intense. Don't get me wrong, guys, this is not a weak fragrance. This one would get you noticed. Yes, if you want to get more like me, I'm kind of an oversprayer with fragrances. I like to do a lot of sprays, so that's when I can get beast mode kind of performance out of this one. Great rose fragrance in my opinion. One that gets me lots of compliments, one that people like, and yeah, Ormond Jane's Arabesque will get you noticed. So guys, that's Arabesque by Ormond Jane, and we move on to the next one. So coming at number 3, guys, we go to the house of Matière Première, and this one is called Radical Rose. Yes, Radical Rose by Matière Première is another rose-based fragrance that is such a lovely release in my opinion. Such a great release, such a great fragrance in my opinion as well. One of my favorite rose-based fragrances in general. And what I like about this fragrance is the balance of spices here with that rose. And this is one of those fragrances that I find to, I should say, this is one of the rose fragrances that I find to be not boring. You know, sometimes rose fragrances are quite boring, and the difference maker for me most times is what the rose is paired with. Most times it's always done with oud, or even with patchouli and some spices, but here you get that ambery sweetness. I believe it's from the labdanum that's listed here. That combination of the rose, the spices, the ambery touches from the labdanum, and I guess the amber just gives that sweetness and just makes this one a great fragrance. I've also seen this fragrance being compared to a popular fragrance, Portrait of a Lady. I think the difference maker here is the sweetness that's in here that's not in that fragrance. It's sweet, it's floral, it does have the woody aspect, and it has the ambery aspect as well, which I find to be really beautiful. And some of the notes listed with this one, there's rose obviously, there's saffron, there's labdanum, there's patchouli, there's some pepper listed here as well. You know, look at how much of this juice I've worn, guys. So yes, Radical Rose here is perfectly unisex. A guy can wear this one, a lady can wear this one. And personally, I would wear this fragrance all year round. I've worn this fragrance in the summertime, I've worn this fragrance in the springtime. It works well in the cold weather, and it does last a long time. And I've heard a few people say this one has quite a metallic vibe here. Personally, I don't get it. I don't pick it up in my nose here. I'm not sure where that comes from, but yeah, fragrances are subjective in general, and people pick up different things from different compositions. But guys, that's Matière Première's Radical Rose at number 3, and we go to number 2. Coming at number 2, we go to the house of Liquids Imaginaires. I'm not sure if that's how to say the name, but this one is Dum Rosa. This is such a beautiful, lovely smelling rose-based fragrance. This is nothing groundbreaking. This is nothing crazy, you know, but this one is just beautiful and different. This is a rose fragrance with some fruity aspects, with some boozy aspects, some earthy undertones. And for the notes with this one, we have champagne as part of the notes at the top. We have pear listed, we have pomelo listed here, there's some rose, there's clove, and there's olibanum listed here, which gives up that smoky vibe as well. My favorite part of this fragrance is the opening. You just get that beautiful champagne vibe, and it's really realistic, guys. It's so realistic, but the thing is, it's short-lived. it doesn't last throughout the life of the fragrance. But yeah, it's so lovely, guys, that opening. I mean, spraying this fragrance, I picture the color pink when I spray this fragrance. The one thing about this fragrance is it doesn't last long. Sadly, it doesn't last long. But I hear there's another version of this one that's supposed to last longer. And maybe when I'm done with this bottle, I might get that one or find it on the discounters and get it. So everyone I've shown this fragrance, or everyone that has sampled this fragrance from me, seem to enjoy it. This is a great rose fragrance to wear when you're not looking to overwhelm anyone, or maybe when you're not looking to overwhelm yourself. It's so light, but yet so beautiful and crisp. It does have that sparkly vibe in the opening, which, like I said, is to die for. My favorite part of the fragrance in general. But yeah, also does have a lot of things going on. There's some spices in here, there's some woodiness in here, there's some sweetness in here for sure. Dum Rosa here is definitely one to check out. It does have a classy vibe to it. With this fragrance, a lot of people would appreciate what you're wearing, even though, like I said, it's not a screamer. And if people get close enough, they'll probably pick it up off you, and you might get compliments wearing this fragrance. So guys, that's Dum Rosa, and we move on to the next one. So coming at number one, we have my favorite rose-based fragrance of all time. And I'm sure a lot of you can already guess what fragrance I'm talking about. It's so popular, a lot of people like it for some reason, and some people don't like this fragrance for a lot of reasons. But even this one took me a while. When I first tried this fragrance, I wasn't really a fan. I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't really like it. But after a couple of years of spending time with this fragrance, I started to see the light. Yes, I did get this fragrance as a sample in 2019, I believe, or 2020. I'm not sure, but sometime during COVID, and I just wasn't feeling it at the time. But then, after wearing my sample and enjoying this fragrance, and then I decided to get a big bottle. So yes, this none other than Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle. And this is arguably the best rose-based fragrance ever created. I mean, that's what I think. And based off all the rose-based fragrances that I personally have tried, it's rose. We have some raspberry in here. We have some blackcurrant. We have some cinnamon. There's some patchouli in here. There's some incense in here. Sandalwood is listed as part of the notes. There's vanilla here. There's a lot of notes listed here, guys. But to my nose, basically, I get rose, I get incense, I get some patchouli, and then there's something that gives off like a dry quality here as well, which I really enjoy. But you can definitely pick up those spices in here. Such a lovely fragrance. No wonder a lot of people like this one. I mean, this is not a safe blind buy. You should check this one out, get samples, test it out, and see what you think before you pull the trigger. Because this is not a cheap fragrance. Unisex fragrance, in my opinion. A lady can wear this one, a guy can wear this one. And yes, this is a beast mode rose fragrance. I would wear this fragrance mostly in the cold weather, in the fall and the winter time. This one would get easy 10 plus hours on me, and that's how I like it. And most fragrances from Frederic Malle, like Promise, and things like that, fragrances like that are all beast mode fragrances, and they really last a long time. This one will get you noticed, Portrait of a Lady. It'll get you compliments from people that enjoy fragrances like this. If you like a smoky rose fragrance, if you like that balsamic edge that is in here, if you like patchouli, if you like incense in rose fragrance, then maybe you should check this one out. I highly recommend Portrait of a Lady. And guys, when you eventually try this fragrance, please be patient with this fragrance. I promise you, you would see the light. Sometimes you have to be a little patient with this one for you to see the light. But yes, when you eventually see the light, you would appreciate this fragrance. I do own a few from the brand Frederic Malle, and this one is easily in my top 3. So guys, that's Portrait of a Lady by Frederic Malle, my number 1 rose-based fragrance. So guys, those were 10 of my favorite rose-based fragrances, and these were 10 niche fragrances. And let me know what you think about this list. Let me know if I missed any rose-based fragrances that you think should be on my list. And also let me know what your favorite rose-based fragrances are. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below. And guys, if you're in North America, if you're in Canada or in the States, you're looking to shop fragrances, be it designer fragrances, niche fragrances, dupes, or even tester bottles for the best prices, perfumeonline.ca is the place to go. I have a link in the description below, and you're welcome to use my promo code PFC5 to get 5% off. I'm gonna keep it moving, guys. I'm gonna see you in my next video. Until then, please stay safe and bye-bye.